Morning, family. How is everyone going? Oh, this light's not very good today, is it? Oh, it's that guy. Let me just open the curtains there so I get more light in. Bit more natural light never hurt anyone, did it? So good morning, everyone. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Angela. Hope you're having a great break. Hi, Lorraine. Mwah. How are you all going? Good, I hope. Well, I'm doing good, so that's a bonus. Hi, Reborn Mama 2017. Hi, Maxine. Hi, Melissa. Hope everyone's doing really, really well. We're doing really, really well in these classes, that's for sure. I'm kind of really excited about today and what I have to show you. That's always a bonus. So don't forget, if anyone's got any questions or they need me to do something particular, show them something particular, don't be afraid to ask. I'm always here to help. Hi, Tiana. Good to see you here again. Yeah, so I've been working on our little baby Emerson. Now, I didn't get a lot of time with him last week. Unfortunately, Teacup was sick for most of the week, and so anything that I had planned pretty much went down the chute. But I still have done a little bit, which I'll show you. Hi, Junewell. Hi, Marie. Just checking out your babies. Oh, thank you. Hi, Julia. Thank you again for doing all your sharing, Julia. Heidi Hi says hi to Lorraine. Amy's, oh my God, how are you going? Thank you. I'm sure you've been doing some sharing of your sons on Facebook, and I've seen them in the last couple of days. And I was like, oh, I miss her. So I hope you're doing well. Hi, Marie and Judy. Chris, how you doing? Bring it on, Chris. We know what you're going to do. Hi, Mary. Oh, this tripod here is on like a lazy Susan, so it keeps moving. It's really annoying. I missed you too, Heidi. Hi, how's everything going in your city? I hope things are getting back to normal. I've been watching a little bit on the news and thinking of you. Reborn under the sun, I'm feeling okay. Slightly overwhelmed, but breathe. And we're doing good. Hi, Elizabeth. I like how you wrote your name. Angel, good morning. Annette, she says, I just stopped in to say hi and listen. I'm behind because I've got my hair today. Okay, that's okay. Don't worry. A lot of people are behind, and that's like really the beauty of this class. You know, you can catch up whenever you want. You can come back. You can start again. You can do anything you want. So don't feel bad about that. Hey, Penny. Lorraine said, hi, Chris. How many days till Christmas? Hi, Terry. Good morning, Angela. I hope you're having a great little break. You've been doing good, Chris. Glad to hear. Brandy's here. She said, hi, I'm kind of sad this class is almost over. Go slow. I will go slow. That's kind of what I'm kind of doing. I'm sort of grasping at straws, trying to find more things to show you. But I think even when Tuesdays has always been my reborning day. So even though I might finish this class, I'll do bits and pieces as we go on different things. And you know, I'm not going to put the pressure on myself as I always do. But I am wanting to start a new class at the beginning of next year. So I don't know whether I'll do ethnic. A lot of people are asking for ethnic. Some people have asked for fantasy. Some people have asked for toddler. Some people have asked for Asian. So I will do something. But at this stage, I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on myself. I know my anxiety will just blow out the bag. So I'll just keep chipping away. Every Tuesday, we'll keep doing different things, people asking stuff, and I'll keep going. So that's a guaranteed. But a different class won't start till next year. I think it gives us time to catch up and you know, get on to what we're doing anyway. Hi, Gigi. Teacup's in working. So she won't, she'll come back and I'll, you know, help put her baby together and things like that. But I don't know if she'll join the class again. Amy said, doing pretty well. So glad you saw my birthday boys. Oh, I know, they're so cute. I need them to stop growing though. Those twins, they need to stop growing. Okay, Chris has done it. 274 days till Christmas. Ugh. That normally means finances. but it's exciting. But no, it's not. We're just getting older every Christmas. Oh my God. Melissa said, been watching the replays, waiting for my paint to arrive. Cannot wait to start. Oh, that's exciting. Good. Junewell says, how is a new grandmother to be going? I'm doing good. So she's 27 weeks this week. Again, I'm on my phone today, so I can't show you any pictures, but 3 weeks away from belly watch. Yeah, everything's going really well. So we're doing well. There's Rose. Rose is the foster mummy of Matilda at the moment. Matilda is there too. Hi, Matilda. Mummy misses you. I'll see you in a few months. Thank you for popping in to say hello. We all miss you. You missed so much of the class, Chris. That's okay. You can always come back. Hi, Charmin. Hi, Summer from Arkansas. Thank you for coming to see us. Amy said, I'll message you, fill you in on. Okay, that sounds good. Fill me in on your life. Heidi High said, oh, thanks. The flooding has mostly receded, but it left lots of damage, roads, washed out bridges. I have to drive 45 minutes to get to my Girl Scouts. It used to take 20 minutes. Whoa, that's pretty substantial, isn't it? Squishy said, how are you? How was your day today? Well, my day's just started, but it's going pretty good already. I'm really quite happy about today. Don't you love it when a day starts good? Reborn Under the Sun said, this class is the best one I ever enjoyed and learned, Annette. I can't wait to attend more in the future. No worries. Hi, Mama. Marie said, are they finding doing a reborn as hard as it seems? Who particularly? It's not that hard, really. I mean, some people have had a few struggles, but I found, which is really, really good and positive, that anyone that has had struggles has not given up and just said, nah, I'm keeping on going. They strip it back and they start again, and they're doing fantastic. Some people showing me their pictures of their messed up one to where they've really got it, and it's been like, wow, it's like a switch has flicked in their brain and they've just totally got it. And I'm like, oh my God, watch this space of those people. It's amazing. Penny said, what do you think of the snip and blow hair technique that I emailed you? I didn't actually get to look at it as yet, but it is on my list to do. I've just got to find it. You didn't send me the link, I think, so that's why I struggled to find it. Mama said, hello, I'm sorry, Annette. I need to tell you how to pronounce Arkansas. Wow. Well, all of us in Australia say Arkansas because it's got an S on the end. So that's really weird. I'm not going to remember that. Or maybe I will. I'll try. But I hope I gave you a little laugh. Amy's doing so well. Thanks, Terry. Reborn Under the Sun said, Marie Moore, so far so good. Might not as hard as I thought it would be. The best way to learn is to take your time and learn a lot from it. No worries. That's good. Lorraine said, yeah, every day does just be positive and grateful. Okay, so everyone's having a laugh. My mum's laughing at me. Mary Beth said, I'm late. I've been whelping. Is that whelping? A friend's German Shepherd litter. Ooh. Since 7 a.m. and she had 7 puppies. Wow. Glad to be watching the class and relax. Okay, good to have relax. I know it's weird. Is it weird? So Arkansas. Arkansas is Arkansas to me. Okay, good. I've got it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to do it for you. Charmin said, did you get the picture of my half-finished reborn baby I sent you in Facebook Messenger? I'm not sure if I've got it. If you sent it just now, I won't because I'm on my phone, but I should have. I'll check once I get off here. Okay, said Gigi, no we don't, Annette. Then again, I watch lots of Bugs Bunny, but yeah, it's weird spelling. Yes, it is weird, isn't it? Brenda said, I've just watched hundreds of tutorials, but you are the artist that I most want to mirror. I love your videos. I adore you. Gee, that's beautiful of you to say. Thank you, Brenda. I hope you do perfectly and become a superstar reborn artist. Rose said, Annette, I got more pics too, and I will send them when I get back home. I got to take my daughter-in-law home. Oh, okay. That's all right. Thank you so much. Okay, now I better stop talking. And people, it's Arkansas. Okay, Marie said, and yes, I used to spell it Arkansas. Okay, it's just really unusual, but really super cool. Okay, so I'm gonna not talk about anything else at the moment except for reborning and answer questions. So if you've got a question, let it cue. So this is only how far I got on Emerson, but I just think it's so beautiful. Did you see my shoulders drop there? Because I think it's so cute. It's so lovely, and it's just so pretty. I'm loving how it's turning out. And just to let you know, if you go back and look at my last week's video, and I showed how much hair I was using working with Emerson's hair. This is how much I've got. I haven't started on a new piece yet. I'm still working on the same piece that I was working on last week when I started him. So if you go back, you'll actually see how much I started with and how much I've still got left. And that's what I mean, especially when you're working with a premium mohair and you're doing like only 1 or 2 hairs at a time, just a few. It doesn't go it doesn't use up too much. So you might see, you know, some premium mohair and it might be $50, could even be $80, and you think, oh my God, just that much for that little bit. Please be rest assured, if it's done correctly, it will go the distance. I mean, this was probably, I don't know, maybe twice as thick. I don't even think it was twice as thick. But I will probably get all the way back here with just this little bit. So it really does go the distance. So don't be scared of the price. Basically, don't be scared of the price. Just go with it, and obviously take things slow. So yeah, I'm really happy with how he is turning out. Very nice. I'll just take this out of here because I'm going to need the lamp for my other test baby that I'm working with. So Emerson can go here for a moment. So this is my like little test head. A lot of you have already seen him before. I've done this hair, just quick showing you guys how to do it with the forked needle. I'm just checking if there's any questions. Wanda said, hello Annette, how are you doing? I finally made another live show. Oh, great. Hugs to you too. No, Emerson is actually Lorraine's baby boy. So Lorraine is his mummy, so I'm doing it for Lorraine. Maria said, love your baby's hair. Mine looks like it's in a coast. Oh. Terry said, he looks like on of the lollipop men in Wizard of Oz. Oh, that's cute. Someone said, thanks, Annette. I had a friend named Annette. Oh, that's a good name. Good name. And Angel said, that's my problem. I'm rooting too much hair. I'm not getting sparse look I want. Okay, well, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so like I said, this is my little test head that I've... Oh, it's got a needle in there. What a bonus. What a bonus. What kind of needle is that? I'm not sure. Probably a 1 bulb. Anyway, I'm going to put this in here just so I can sort of heat it up a little bit. So if you've got one of these, you just pop it in like that, and the arm will open inside and sort of keep it there. So I'm just going to switch that on just to heat the head for now. So what I'm here to show you for this moment is how to root really, really quick. Stupid, lazy Susan. Really, really quick using a forked needle and still getting a fine look. A lot of people really go by this technique, but a lot of the people that are a little bit snotty in the nose think, no, I wouldn't do it that way. But honestly, you can get a really good look out of it. Really, really good look. And I think, like I've said a billion times before, in our Reborn toolbox, we do need a wide range of tools. And sometimes, you know, I mean, when I'm working on most of my babies, my custom babies, I do want to give my customer the ultimate quality. So I give them my time too, and I do sit and take my time with this. It pretty much always happens. But, you know, you might have the odd occasion, let's say someone's come to you and they said, oh, I need a baby in like 3 weeks or whatever. And you're thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do it? This is a way of doing that and it's not really, I mean, you could keep your price a bit lower, but it's going to give a quality look. Great for kids, great for nursing homes, great for quick jobs. But in all seriousness, you can't really see that it's a quick job. Like, no one could really know unless they were sitting there with you, beside you, knowing exactly what you're doing. So we'll get to that. So when it gets to this way, now if anyone has any questions, don't forget to try to ask them. I might not be able to answer back straight away. Heidi High, the needle I'm using for him is a 40 gauge 1 barb. So the 1 barb is really good for getting that really fine look, but you can do it still with like 3 barb needle. I don't know if that's gonna focus in really well or not. It is not. So anyway, that's what I'm using for that one. But for this little technique that I'm doing here, I'm going to be using a forked needle. Now I do have to tell everyone that if you really like this technique and you need to buy the needles off me, please do it really soon, because I've only got about 4 packs of 10 left. And once they go, it'll take me probably another couple of months to get the forked needles back in, because once I order it, the company they're a bit slow. So if you really want to get it, you're going to have to get it straight away. So with this technique, I really suggest one of these, what I call standard wooden rooting tool. You basically have to. This is a non-negotiable. You have to buy this one. And you'll see why as I talk further into it. Now, again, I know a lot of people have already seen this, so sorry, you're going to have to see it again. Heidi High said, okay, I use 1 barb too. I've never used the fork. Okay, so this, like I say, is, something you'd have in your toolbox for different applications. Like when I'm doing a toddler's head, I'll normally always use a mushroom rooting tool, and I will use more barbs to my needle. So I might use 6 barbs. I've even used 9 barbs on a toddler, especially if I'm using human hair, because I just find it's much better for grabbing that hair and getting it in. But yeah, having a few different tools it's just a joy anyway, because we like spending it. It's entertainment. Okay, so when you get your rooting tool like this, it'll just basically come like this. Yes, I do sell the heating lamps. So it'll basically come like this, and if you have no idea, what happens is this needle, by the way, is just, well, it's not rubbish, but I don't even know what gauge it is or how many barbs it is. It's just like basically a sample needle that comes with it. So you're really after the tool. So if you take it home and you try it and the needle breaks straight away, don't get upset at me and go, this doesn't work. It's just a sample. It's not meant to stay or work. Any needle will break if not used properly, but these, I don't even know what they are. So yeah, you just pull out this little bung here, and you'll see how the bung is tapered. So it's thicker at the top and it's thinner at the bottom. So this protects the needle. It's really great if you're going to a friend's place or something, because your needle isn't going to break on transit and everything. But for this particular one here, I would generally throw it away. But yeah, to use it, you'll turn the needle around. You'll turn the needle around, and the thin end of the bung goes back in there, and that's how that needle comes together. And it's really quite handy. A lot of people absolutely swear by it. I don't use it on general applications like with Emerson, but when I'm using a forked needle, I definitely do. So a forked needle, compared to your general needle, is a bit more short and stubby, although once again, a lot of different Reborn suppliers sell different type of forked needles, so I can't guarantee if you order one from your local Reborn supplier if it's going to be the same as this. Angel said, my question is, my hair came on a weft. What's the best way to root that? I'm not sure. I'll have to get to that. What does bobs mean? I do not know. Oh, barbs. Yes, they're there's little tiny, I mean, you won't even get to see it, but let me see. there's little tiny nicks all in the side. Like if you'll see my fingernail will grab things, it's sort of held off. They're like little tiny barbs out the side. If you know, like a stingray has little barbs off the side of its tail, it's like that, but really, really tiny, and you can catch your nail in them. So they are what, when you push that needle in, they grab the hair and pull it into the head. You can imagine if there was no barbs on that, there'd be nothing to grab the hair in. It would just slip right past it. So that's what that is. Aussie accent. Yes, barbs, not bobs, barbs. Okay, so anyway, this is really, really difficult. All you can probably see there is just a blunt end compared to our usual needles, which are quite sharp and pointy, and they hurt when they go in. But there's a secret on this needle, which you won't see, and that is a tiny fork. Now, when I talk about fork, let's look at it as scissors here. So see that? That's what kind of fork it is. It's basically like two lines, which would be straight up like this, with a gap in the middle. And it's so tiny. I think the gap even doesn't go very far. I'd have to grab it. Let's see if I can grab it. Grab. Yeah, I've grabbed it there. So see how far my nail has gone into it. It's nothing. Like the fork is hardly nothing at all. I know you can't see it very well because it's so far away, but that's it. It's probably a millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters deep, that fork is. But that's basically, you know, what that you're looking at. It's not like a typical fork that we eat has 4 prongs on it. It's just got 2 prongs with the center. Okay, so now when you get this in your home, if you buy one of these tools, sorry, I'm going to move you again, stop moving, stop that. Okay, so if you buy one of these tools, I would then suggest you get a Nico pen, and the Nico pen is pretty crucial. Anyone who is going to get this could ask me to do it if they really needed me to. But where it becomes crucial is, this is my hair, right? So when the fork is going down, it has to go like this. So you could imagine then it's going to grab that hair to pull it into the scalp of the head. If I had the barbs going this way, it's just really going to go right through, and it won't be pulling anything through, if you can imagine that. So it would just be like slipping over the top. Sorry about my phone. It would just be slipping over the top instead of grabbing and pulling it through. So that's why it's really important that you sort of mark your tool. Now, how I do this, now just give me a moment and don't stress if I'm getting overwhelmed.
Hello.
Which I'm not.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Stupid thing. This has just got a bit of wood here, so I'm just trying to get rid of it. See that little bit of a crusty bit there? That's not what I want. Hang on. Let's see if I can shave that away, otherwise I'm going to have to get another one. They haven't done this one properly. How dare they? Don't they know I'm going to use this one? Bit better. Come on. Be much quicker for me just to go get a new one, but it's all right. Is that going to work for me or not, is the question. No, not very well. Teacup? Teacup? Yeah. Can you bring me out a standard rooting tool, please? Yeah. Yeah, that one's just got too much. See that little bit of muck up the top, wood that they haven't shaved properly, so that one won't work with what I want to do. Thank you. That's what I want. See, nice and flat. When you saw this, had that bit of gunk on top, bit of wood still there. Okay, so we're starting again. Just check if anyone's got any questions. And no, good morning everyone who's come. Matilda ringing the waltzing Matilda. I know it's got to be Matilda. It's all about her. Okay, so remember, our needle comes like this. This is how I'm going to show you again. So your needle comes like this, okay? And once again, we're not going to use the needle inside it. So we're just going to pull that out like this. Drop the needle. We don't need it. But we're going to use our other needle. So if that was the needle that we just pulled outside, let me get this straight for you. What you would do is you'll pull out the bung like this, and you will turn that needle around, which will then allow you to put it back in with the needle poking out. Okay, so that's how you would put that together. But like I said, with the forked needle, we need to get it on the perfect angle, otherwise it's not going to grab the hair properly the way we do it. So how I do that is, you can see that there's a little shaft, sort of little channel there. What I want to do is I want to put my needle on there and have it perfectly angled so it's going straight down. So there is my shaft there, the little channel, and I want this to be perfect angle straight up and down. Oops, that was really good, knocked that out. Okay, so perfect angle, and that's sort of what I want to look. So I then get my Nico pen and I draw around that, so that's a marker. So it's a guide for yourself, just a reminder that every time I'm going to put a new needle in, that's how I'm going to put it, exactly into that little position there, okay? So then what I do with this here, just put like a little mark anywhere, just like one little line, okay? Just one little line like that with your pen. My little needle wants to stay in place, that'll be good. So make sure that's nice and straight. So there's my little straight edge there in there. So then what I do is, on that line, I line up the top of my needle with the line and push it down, okay? So what this is now going to do is, that's what I want to look down, like the barrel of the gun. I want to see that Nico mark whenever I'm doing the rooting. So that will always be the angle, and therefore I know my needle is actually like this. I know that because I've tested it 1,000 times, and all needles, well, all of my needles are all the same. So that means I know they're all like that. So when I then go to push it, they're going to go straight in and take the hair. So any questions about that before I move on? And I can take a much needed drink. My forked needle, I've only got one gauge. It's 42 gauge forked. They're the only ones I have in forked. And just a reminder for anyone who wasn't here earlier, I've only got about 4, maybe 5 packs of 10 of these left. So if you really, really want them, you're going to have to buy them today. They might not all sell today, I'm not sure, but I need to order some more in, and the company I get them from is a little bit slow, and it could be like another 1 to 2 months before they're in store. So unfortunately it's not at a really good time for a great sales, but if you want them, that's where they are. Thank you again, Julie, for sharing from me. Lovelock said, hi, I just found your live classes and I love them. You are fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you, Gigi, for saying I'm clever. Reborn Under the Sun said, question Q&A. Annette, how much is the routing tool? So the routing tool, this is $8.55, free postage in Australia, to send anywhere else in the world, $3. So you won't pay more than $11.55.
What do you want these? There's only 22 in there.
I've ordered new ones in, and they should be in like today or tomorrow.
Okay, so do you want these in here for you?
No.
No?
So yeah, $11.55. That's Australian. So obviously US probably, it could be just over $10 US. Not sure. The needles, it's a pack of 10, I believe, for $11.95, and again $3 postage. If you got both of them together, you should be able to get the $3 postage for the both. So $11.95, $8.55. You wouldn't be paying any more than, you know, around 23, 24 Australian for the two. And then, like I said, if you're getting it from the US or whatever, it probably comes down to about 21 US, something like that. The needles, the forked needles, they are so schmick. You don't break as many of these as you do our barbed needles. They're just, I mean, you can see that the shaft of that needle is thicker. It's thicker and more robust. I mean, this obviously comes down to the thin point when this is more of that thickness all up, and it's quite strong. So I don't think I've ever broken one. The only thing I do is lose them. I don't know. They go on, you know, like where the socks go, they go to that place. So that's quite a good point. Because if you're going to buy them, you only need to buy one pack of 10. Now, I'm not going to promise that you won't break it. It's definitely possible. And over time, if you were using it for years, of course, there's going to be slight bends to that needle, and it will eventually break. But I have been lucky enough never to break one. Probably, like I said, because I lose them and then start on a new one. Thank you, Charmin. I always appreciate what you say. Please, everyone, remember the thumbs up. It's my guaranteed payment for being here. I just love seeing those thumbs go up. You can't type. Squishy said, do you recommend more rooting or painting? You know, it really depends on what baby you're working with, seriously. Like, and some people just have like arthritis, they can't really do it, and some people just hate rooting. So it really depends on the person and the customer, in fact. With this way, I have to say I could do this whole head rooted with this needle. I could have it all done in a day, and it looks really great. And it doesn't take that much pain or pressure on your body to do. So it's definitely a good way for someone who has arthritis and, you know, even not really great eyesight. But yeah, it really depends on the person. Some people do the combo hair. The combo hair is like the painted, but then they'll just do, you know, some light rooting up on the top of their hair. So it really is a bit, depends on the artist. Can I reserve what for you? Reborn under the sun. Okay, so now we'll get to the head. Now, you saw that I've been heating this. Definitely good to heat it, but we don't want to keep that tool in, because for this application we're going to be stabbing the head repeatedly, and as you can imagine, in there is, well, the light bulbs in there, and, you know, electricity, so to speak, and it would just be really horrible to bang on that. So please, 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 if you're using, you know, the heat lamp, take it out, because you just don't want anything to happen there. Okay, put that over there. Oh, the rooting tool, I'll have plenty for you. The needle itself, best wait until you're ready, but they'll be in by the time you're ready. Terry said, everyone be sure to give a thumbs up and like the live. It really does help Annette out. Thank you, Terry. Mama said, I have a 40 gauge needle. Is that too big? No, that's fine. Like I said, with Emerson, I'm using a 40 gauge needle. So it's one of my favorites. But for this application, it doesn't work in the way I'm going to show you. Hi, Patricia. Okay, so I'm going to move this down so you can just see the head working on. So, sorry, a little bit of brush showing there, guys. Show for you. So with this sort of way, you get like a big clump of hair. Now this is the hair that I've literally been working with this kit the whole time. And just to show you sort of how fine, I'm not sure if it's going to focus in very well. Yeah, you can see that that's, come on camera. You can see that that's pretty fine in there. It's not really, really thick. You can see the scalp through it. It's a really good look. And as you can imagine, once this was finished, I would be cutting the hair, so that would make it even more fine. Okay, so you just grab hair. Now, this is a premium hair, but I don't know what kind of hair you want to use. Just give it a go. I would say testing it first. Doesn't matter what kind of hair you use. So what you do with this is you need to have a big amount of hair. You couldn't do it really with it really thin. Like if you came and you were just using, say, this amount, it wouldn't really give too much of the effect that we need to do. Why I say we need to get a big amount of hair, because we're going to be literally stabbing it repeatedly, and we need plenty of hair there. So every point that I push the needle in, it's going to be definitely grabbing hair. Okay, so I've heated the head. Like I said, that will make it 10 times easier, but if you don't have the rooting lamp, don't worry, these are still pretty good without it. So just get your hair like this and hold it nice and tight so you've still got that nice thickness. So with that marker pointing up, all I do now is just go over and over in one section. Now I can feel the fine little hairs underneath my finger and thumb there being pulled towards the center. You need to visually look with your eyes where your needle is being put in, and if you get it right, oh, sorry, that has just gone through there. I'll just put it aside anyway. If you get it right, you can get them all really close together and quite uniform. So with that, sorry, what happened there is my needle went up into the head, which that normally doesn't happen. Go put that nice and tight so it won't move. And put it in there straight. Okay. So anyway, what happens is then you just get the needle underneath, just give a little bit of a help, and you can see there how much hair has come in just from that application. I want to get it nice so you can see it there. Look at that. How long did that take, guys? 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and look how many hairs I got in that time. They're really nice and fine, and they're pretty close together. Mistakenly, if you do it the right way, people would never know that you hadn't taken hours and hours and hours to do it. So that's one thing I really love about that. And see how much of an area I've done. So it's taken quite a good area. So let's say I'm going to sort of fill in this area now. So you've got to obviously look at what areas you need to fill in. Get that nice and tight. Put it over that area. Hang on. Nice to give it a little bit of a twist. Put it over that area. Teacup's having a sing-along in the back there. So funny, she doesn't even probably realise. Okay. So you can do it for as long as you want or as little as you want. The longer you do it, obviously, the more, the thicker that hair will be. So I just like to pull it up there. See how much hair is going in? Look at that. It's amazing. It amazes me every time. Look how much hair. That was how much hair I got in that application. All of that there. So then I'll show it to you all nice and brushed down. Obviously I've got other hair there. And let me also tell you how strong it is in the actual shaft. It doesn't like feel like it's going to come out very easily. So see that? And you can see all that looks quite uniform. It doesn't look like really patchy and like holes everywhere, or there's no big like holes plug. It's not pluggy. It's quite really good. So then if I go get that hair, let's just say I work on some of the hair I just did. Sorry when it keeps focusing out. It's so annoying. Focus. Nope, it just doesn't want to focus. You stupid camera. There we go. So if I got that hair there and I give it a tug, let's go and give it a big tug. Look at that. Now they're pretty big tugs I've done, and got a couple of little hairs coming there, but they could have just been hairs that were extra hairs there anyway, that were not quite rooted. So I don't know how anyone thinks about that, but I think it's fantastic. I'm going to see your messages now. Good morning, Kylie. You want some of those needles for sure, June Mother? Great, aren't they? That's just it, Chris. It is easy. Miss Debbie said, I'm using 42 forked and I've marked my tool exactly where the needle points up. Now, where do I hold it at? Yep, so exactly where the needle points up. Just remember, your needle, I've pushed it down tight. So if you make sure that from your shaft, it just bends straight over the edge of the shaft, like that. Do your other marker on top and just follow the line of your needle. So you can see that line and my needle is in the same position, and push it on nice and tight, otherwise you'll push that forked needle back in. You love this technique? You'd probably stab yourself. I know, Terry, I've actually stabbed myself once doing this, because the kids call you away and you lose focus for one moment and then you stab yourself, and it's very painful because it's a blunt needle. You will stab yourself. I've done it plenty of times. Thank you, Deanna. Mary said, when you use real hair, what kind of needle do you use? Generally, I'll be only using the real hair on my toddlers, and I would be using a needle that has more barbs in it. So yeah, that's what I normally do, but you could try anything. It's just I'm saying this is what works best for me. So again, I'll do it again just to show you one more time before we move on to something else. So I'll just put that right there, and you can see again where my marker is. And it doesn't seem to matter if you go like straight down, when that normally matters, if we're working on other hair, because otherwise it sort of sticks up. I mean, I've got a slight angle going there, but not too much. So like I said, if I was to do this technique and keep going with this hair, I could have the whole head finished definitely in a day, probably more likely finished in hours. And no one would know that I didn't spend weeks doing it. So look at that. Again, you can see because of, how much that hair is nice and flat, because I've just wet it. So this is my fresh hair. So you can really see how much hair's gone in. So this basically, on each time it goes in, we'll take one hair, maybe two, and then when the hair goes inside, it comes out like this. So you'll have a shaft that has one hair, but it's coming out with two. And it seems to sit really well inside. I don't know how well you can see that. Come on, it's not going to focus in again. Come on, camera, we love you. Focus. Good, thank you. So you probably can't see that very well, but there's the little hairs inside. So they, once again, like I was talking about with Emerson, you'll be able to see with his a little bit better today. They're quite long inside, up to about 1 centimeter, which is fantastic, because when you're gluing them in place, focus, when you're gluing them in place, it sits much better. Focus. Why does it keep doing that? It's driving me nuts. You bugger. Focus in on Emerson. Thank you. Of course you would focus in on Emerson. Okay, so again, you can see how much hair has got in there just with that one application. So I'm going to see if there's any questions now. Mama said, so with that wad of hair, is it in half creating two? Yes, it is, but you really couldn't tell. You know, it's not left a big plug or anything. It's not pluggy or anything. You really couldn't tell that there's two. Mostly it looks like there's one. And Mama said, so how is the hair not sticking up? I don't know. It just doesn't. Maybe it's the kind of hair I'm using on this particular application. This, I believe, was alpaca, and it does generally sit nice. Stop not focusing, you stupid camera. Sorry, this is going to take a bit longer for everything. Okay. I mean, you can see it's sort of poking up at the moment, but that's only because it hasn't been watered down once and it hasn't been cut. But generally this hair does sit nice and flat anyway, I found. So I guess that would probably be the way, what kind of hair you're using. But once I've brushed it down like that, that pretty much stays like that. Unless, unless you know, I haven't brushed it in forever. Oh, hi, Kelly. I'm glad you made it. Terry said, what barb needle is that you're using again? Yep, so it's just a 42 gauge forked. Oh, thanks, Kelly. So I've just showed how the forked needles work. So you might have to go back and watch the beginning of this video, and I show you exactly how to put the tool together, how to put the needle in the right position so you get the hair in on each application, and how I did it. So you could go back and watch that, and it hopefully will help you. Okay, Angel, thank you for coming. Miss Deb said, ta-da, that works, says the lady in Arkansas. Wanda said, has anyone ever used human hair in babies that you know of? I definitely have, but I generally only use them in my toddlers, like I said. I just find because human hair is normally a bit coarse, it's heavy, it doesn't sit nice and light on a newborn, but on a toddler it sits fantastically. Melissa said, sorry, it's been asked before, is that enough hair for one baby? If this one probably would. But generally I would like to keep a little bit more, because remember how I said I like to have a good amount of hair? That means that when I am, you know, putting, you know, the tool in to get the hair, it's definitely going to take it. I find if I get a bit thin, like let's say I started getting this, it just generally won't take as much hair because there's not as much hair to take. So hopefully that answers that. Terry said, what's the best hair to use? Almost common. That again is like how long is a piece of string. I really don't know. See, I'm really all over the place with hair. Sometimes I'll be using Slumberland, other times Susan Nagel, other times Delta Dawn. The mohair I do sell in Aussie Reborn Supplies, which is actually on its way at the moment, is very, very popular. It's just standard mohair. It's not that expensive. I've got people that swear by it and say it's the best thing they've ever used. It's definitely not premium, but it's really, really good for applications probably like this and beginners. Once you get a little bit further into it, I would definitely be suggesting something more premium. But definitely something like mohair, alpaca. Junewell said, I have, but mixed with mohair, matched perfectly, no problem. Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good point. So you've mixed your mohair with the human hair and had no problems. That's good. Kylie said, with the yellow paint, can I just put water? Yeah, you can do that. Penny said, when buying alpaca hair, do you know you're getting good quality? How do you know? You really don't. I guess if, you know, they've got a website and, you know, the price is not really cheap, you'll probably know that, you know, it's quite good. Otherwise, you can ask people around if they've bought from them before, but sometimes we just have to test it out and for ourselves, you know. What do you do with the leftover mohair? Deanna's asked. I always keep it. I always keep it. I have a drawer full of mohair, and sometimes I've got little bits left here and there, but sometimes I use it for other hair. I might just need a little bit of blonde around the outside. Sorry, it's not focusing in again. But yeah, I always keep it because it's so expensive. I can't bear to throw it away. Kelly said, for my first rooting for practice, I brought a doll from a thrift shop and plucked her hair and reused it until I get better. Oh, that's a good idea. It was your hair, General? Yeah. Heidi uses Delta Dawn. That's beautiful hair. I'm using that on Emerson at the moment. Nene said, what are good sites that you recommend buying mohair from for beginners? Unfortunately, I don't know many companies in the States. If anyone there has any ideas, by all means, give the idea. Julie has just shared my website, Aussie Reborn Supplies. I've got mohair. It's out of stock at the moment, but it's due in the next month. So you can always look back in a month, and it's not badly priced. Okay. I haven't used horsehair. No, I haven't. I think that would be really, really coarse, like way too thick. But maybe some people have. All right, well, let's move on. So we've done our hair. We've talked about hair. If anyone has any other questions, please ask now, or you can always message me. So again, he's turned out really, really good. She's turning out really good. I'll use this head and I'll show a billion more people before it's actually finished. But yeah, it's definitely a good look. And if you're, see there's, you know, some gaps between, I like to keep my hair nice and thin. You can sort of go over that and do it some more and it's fine. Once this baby's done, he'll be like a giveaway baby or something like that. Okay, so now what I want to do is talk about putting your baby together. So I'm going to move chairs. I'm going to move over here. So I'll keep going. Brandy said you really should research the hair if not ordering from Reborn Supply. You might end up with roving or raw wool, which instead of nice hair fibers. Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's true. Wanda said you could take the different shades and make highlights. Yes, and lowlights, definitely. And it's really nice when you see a reborn with different color hair like that. US would be best for you. And thank you. Okay, is shipping expensive considering it comes from Aussie? It's not actually too bad. Like if you bought a pack of mohair for me, which I'm not sure, I've got to recheck prices once it all comes. I think it's going to be about $17 for 15 grams. Postage would only be $3 for that. So it would cost you $20 Australian, which would be more likely around $18 US. So it's really not that bad. A lot of people say they pay more from their own country. So it's really, really important, you know, if you're going to get into it, to really weigh up your prices. All the Little Reborn says Dolls by Sandy is reasonable, and I've never had a problem. Yes, I've used her too, actually. Heidi High said horsehair would be way too coarse. Save it for violins. Well, I'm sure they can use coarse in, you know, like different type of dolls. It would work well in different types. Charmin said, yeah, putting baby together. Maria said, Kelly, I was going to do that, but all the dolls I found were hard vinyl. Okay. Nene said, how long have you been reborning, and has painting changed over time? I've been watching your old tutorial videos. So that's why I'm asking. Okay, I've been painting now for about 20 years. And it hasn't changed too much. It's like the mottling has evolved a little bit, and, you know, we've gotten a little bit better with our mottling, and things like that. But generally, no, it hasn't changed too much. So if you're looking back on one of my old videos, you should still get a great result out of them for sure. Hi, first time reborn. Um, so Nini, how many grams do you need on a newborn baby? Really depends on how heavy you are with your hand getting the hair on. I would say the 15 grams that I sell is quite good. But I've bought 7 grams before. I think when I made Matilda, I only bought 7 grams of mohair and I still had some left over. So it really just depends on how heavy you are, how much you're going to be using. Okay. Julia said the US price translate less expensive from AU. That's right. Gigi said if it's raw wool, boil up water, add eucalyptus oil and leave it soak overnight. Then wash 3 times in washing soda or Epsom salts. Dry in the sun, not a hairdryer. Okay, thank you for that tip. Marie said, hi Annette, just got here. How much is 17 grams? Can't really show you. This amount here would probably, I mean, it's really hard to tell, but that would probably only be about 10 grams, I would say, just from a guess. Nini said, thank you so much for answering all my questions. You are an amazing artist and you have inspired me to reborn. I'm glad. All the little reborns that I've been researching using oils, still not sure, but it's a medium I'm really familiar with. Fair enough. Sometimes it's really good to go with something you really are familiar with. Okay, so I'm not going to talk again. I'm going to go with putting the body together. So I am putting Emerson's body together today. Of course, I'm not putting him all together because he's still got to get his hair finished. But this will give you some idea of what you have to do. So hopefully I can show you everything and answer all questions as we're going. So if anyone has any major questions, please ask. If not, try to refrain until I get back to answering questions. Okay, so we've got all of Emerson's limbs here, his arms and his legs. I've got his body, and then we've got stuffing and weight and everything around here. So normally what I start with is the legs. So that's a leg. So I'll just put the arms aside. Okay, so when it comes to your weight, this is a little bit important. So when I'm doing weight in the limbs, I always use fine glass beads. Now I have 5 different types. I have had some smarty pants once tell me there's like 60 different types of or grades of glass beads, and there probably is. But when you're coming to reborning, there's only about 5 which are really quite commonly used and popular. You can go up and down with all the different grades all you like, but generally this is all you really need. So when I make my babies, of course, I'm using premium quality. If you're up in prices of your reborns that you sell, make sure you use quality products. I really suggest if you're asking a high price for your baby, don't go filling it with your cheap ones. Now I know some artists that do, and that's fine if that works for them, but I really think giving the customer all the best products for that high price, I think it's quite kind to do it that way. Hang on, Nini says, one major question I do actually have is about the rings. What exact purpose for the rings, and do you absolutely need them? I'll get to that in 1 second. Okay, so again, each to their own. If you want to get the cheapest one, it's completely up to you. Your customer will probably never know. But yeah, I kind of just suggest go for quality, but it's completely up to you. But if you're starting and you're a beginner, don't go for the quality. Just go for the basic, cheaper ones. They work just as well. So that's fine. So with the 5 I have 2 premium brands. So where is that thing? So this is my premium fine, and I don't know how close I can get in for you, but you can see it's very fine, really, really fine. It's got a nice glitter to it, which I love. You can see how fine that is. This is premium, of course, so it's white, it's really refined. All the little glass bits in there are the same size, and I'm talking super, super fine. Like, see on my finger there? Don't know how close it will get, but you can see that that is really, really fine. Okay, so that is my premium fine. That's what I only use this in limbs, never use it in body and head, but we'll get to that. So this is my premium course, and what this is all like little tiny balls. You can't really tell by that, but if I pick it up, you should be able to see that they're tiny, tiny little balls. Okay, now these are great for inside the head and inside the body because they won't come out of the little stocking that we use. So they're the two that I always use when I'm making my babies. Now, when it comes to other ones, the Tumble Glass, which is the cheaper ones, this is Tumble Glass coarse. This is what I use for, well, anyone uses for the body and head. So as you can see, it's a lot coarser. I'll put some on my finger here. You can see it's like, raw sugar, thick raw sugar. And it's a green color, so it's not as refined. The edges of this can be a little bit sharpy when like the premium is, they're like tiny balls, so there's no sharpness in there. But this, for a beginner's point of view, is great for the body and the head. Okay. Now when I go for a beginner type baby, there is Tumble Glass fine as well. So this is still nice and fine. You can see, and you can see it on my finger there. It's still nice and fine. It feels a little bit more gritty than the premium fine, and sometimes it can have a light dust to it. That's why you would never put it in your stocking, because it'll just come out and it can be a little bit dusty. It's not dust as such, it's just the glass dust. Now there is one more type that I have, which is the standard. So this is fine when it comes to Tumble Glass. This is Tumble Glass coarse, Tumble Glass fine, and I also have one which is called standard. Now it's a bit in between the two, and it's a good all-rounder. So if someone was just wanting one brand, I would be saying to go for the standard, because you can use it for the limbs and the body and the head. The only problem with the standard, it's great, like I said, if you don't want to think, you just want to go for it. But it can give, like, I like when I'm squeezing my limbs that they're nice and they feel like a muscle tone. That's really good. So you just squeeze it like a muscle tone. But if you squeeze it and you hear a crunch, it's not very, very nice. Not very nice at all. This would definitely give a crunch. It'd be like this. Okay, now the standard is a little bit like that, but not as much. I'll just grab it for you, hang on. May as well show you while I'm here. Okay, so here is the standard. You can see the grains a bit better, but it still gives that gritty sound. Now that's the crunch you'll hear when you're squeezing the limbs together. So if we look at these three, they're all pretty great, but that one in the middle is an all-rounder, like I said, which can be used if you don't want to, or if you just want to get one brand. Like, I sell them in 1 kilo, 3 kilo, and 10 kilo, but generally customers can ask me if they want 1 kilo and 2 kilos, but this I don't send internationally because it's just too heavy and too expensive for you to, get sent. But there is other companies in the States that sell it. Ask around your sort of peers in the Reborn community where they get them. Some people are a bit tight-lipped, but other people are quite happy to let you know where they got them from. But they're the Tumble Glass ones, so they're the 3 cheaper brands that I sell, and obviously these are premium ones. So again, if you're a beginner, just go for the Tumble Glass. The cheapest ones is fine. If you're more advanced and you're really wanting to give your customer absolute quality, get the premium fine. I mean, if you're making a baby for yourself, wouldn't you want to put the premium fine in it? You want the best of everything. You want it to feel as most realistic as it can. All right, so I've probably talked everyone's head off with that, so I apologise, but I just wanted to let everyone know sort of what the grades are and how to use it. All the little Reborn said, Annette, I heard you should give acrylic paint 2 weeks to cure. Do you wait that long before putting together? I generally don't. I find it's fine. I haven't had that problem. I'm a bit both ways, Nini. I like acrylic paints. I love the magical realism, and I also like Genesis heat set. When I'm making a baby for my customers, once again, I'm giving them quality. I like to give them Genesis heat set paints because that's my jam. That's what I've been doing for all these years, and I'm pretty good at it. I find I'm pretty good at it. I'm better than magical realism. I'm still learning myself with magical realism. We will be seeing everyone's babies as they get done. So sorry I haven't answered everyone's messages. All the little Reborn said, I use fine glass beads and get from Harbour Freight. I get £50 for $37. Okay, that's good. Tricia said, I use fine glass beads and get it for £5 for a 5 kilo bag. Okay. My crazy Nan said, if you don't put the beads in a stocking, what can you put them in? You could make a little, sew a little bag for them, but they really need to go in a bag. Otherwise, in the body, they'd just be floating around everywhere. It'd be a complete mess. But stockings, they're so easy to get. Just go down to, Walmart. I get them here from Target. You can get a packet of 3 or something for $4. It's really easy to get. Maria said, I got the fine from BB. Should I not use them in the head and body? I mean, you can use them in the head and body, but you would definitely have to have like some kind of sack that you put them in, that it's just not going to come out, your little fine, if you can imagine, the little fibers, it just comes through. So you just have to be careful with that. Patricia cannot see me. Oh, that's no good. I ran away. Gigi said, I don't know why you would have to cure acrylics. Oils, yes, but not acrylics. I think I know with luminaire you do need to sit that there for a little while. It's sticky. Sometimes it's sticky at the end, and you need to let it sit there to reduce the stick. So that might be where people have heard that from. Okay, Mary, thank you for joining us anyway. Yeah, refresh if you can't see me. All the little Reborn said, wanted to pass on to everyone. I have 6 babies in my Etsy shop. Oh, thank you for that. My crazy Nan said, yes, but you said don't put the fine ones in the stocking or it will come out. It definitely will come out. And I can show you that if you like. Let me just get a little bit of stocking. I'm just working out what part I want to cut. So let's just say I'll make a little mock bag here. I'll make a little mock bag. Come on. There we go. So it should, obviously over time and pressure it's going to come out more. Let's just say I've got my little stocking there and I put my glass bead in there. That's it. Can you see it coming out? It's just coming out of the small fibers. So that also happens if it's coming out cotton.
Sorry, for the Reborn starter kit, the first one, do I do 500 grams of one bead, 500 grams of another, or just do 1 kilo of the same?
Has someone bought?
No, no, but I'm getting it all prepared so I can put it in lists.
Oh, okay. Do we have time for that, Emma?
Yeah.
Okay. For the budget starter kit.
No, the first Reborn.
Oh, and how much kilo do I have altogether? 1 kilo. Probably just 1 kilo standard.
That's standard.
Yep. Okay. So you can see it's coming out there. It's quite obvious that it's coming out. So that's what's going to happen in stocking. It'll come like that way through cotton if you've made a little cotton bag, because as you can imagine, you know, cotton's breathable. You can see the little holes in it. Unless it was completely sealed, it's going to come out. Okay. So I'm going to keep going with this so we can get through it. Otherwise, we're not going to get through it. Yay! Can't wait, Patricia. Okay. So that's that demonstration. Okay. So now back to the legs. I need a breather. Where do I need a breather? That's what I need. Okay. A bit stressful sometimes. What happened with Valerie? Reborn Under the Sunset, Annette. That happened to me with Valerie. It was so frustrating. Okay. All right. Clear. Okay, I've got some polyfill or hobby fill behind here, so I'm going to just grab that right now. I'll also talk about the hobby fill and all that as well. Come back here, camera. Okay, put me off my thoughts for a minute. All right, so this is the fine glass bead. Like I said, this is what I use in my limbs. So just get something, this is obviously a medicine glass. Find anything that's small, and even if it's got a spout, it's even better. So normally I just pick it up and just pour it straight in. Maybe 3 scoops to start. Now, obviously, if you're making a custom baby and they've asked for a certain weight, you normally have to try to go by that certain weight. But try not to, if you can, let the customers dictate the weight to you too much, because when we're making reborns, they are actually a dead weight. So even if you're going to make it, say, 5 pound or something, it's going to be 5 pound in weight when we put it on the scales, but it'll be a 5 pound dead weight. It won't be a 5 pound live newborn weight, which, you know, they sort of hold on to their own muscles and everything, so it doesn't feel, what's going on out there? So it doesn't feel as heavy as you can imagine. So when I've put those 3 scoops in there, just give it a bit of a shake so it goes down to the toes. You want to make sure that they're in the toes. And basically we want to make sure it's about, you can't really see, but put your weight to about halfway. I've found that is the best for me. I used to do it 3/4, and since then I've gone back and felt some babies that I've made years ago, and they're just so heavy and so unrealistic and scary. So once I felt that, I readjusted my weighting system, and I found about knee size. So this is just a little over, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a salt shake out of there. So definitely, so it's on the knee. Okay, so like I said, it's just, I'll just see where my finger mark is. Right there is where it ends, and it goes right across like that. Okay, so I'll do the other leg as well. And I've done something that I shouldn't have done, but that's all right. You'll soon hear about what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's good. So I'll just put that aside for the moment. So what I was saying, that I've done something that I shouldn't have done, it's just a bit of something extra that I'm going to show you guys, and that is with the neck rings. So neck rings are obviously for the neck of the reborn. So we put them like this, like this on the necks. And what that actually does is allow the neck the head to rotate much easier than if we didn't use them. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit croaky. Neck rings are not a must-have, but once again, I think for the price you're paying for them, they're really not that much to pay to have that ease of movement and everything. So why I've got this neck ring out right here is because a lot of people these days are starting to use neck rings around their legs and sometimes arms to make the legs move easier in the sockets as well. Because if you can imagine, when we put the cloth on, it sort of has a bit of a resistance. It doesn't move as freely as it does with something like this. So today, just for your sake, I'm going to put the neck rings on the legs so you can see how it works. Sorry about this. I might change my mind if it's not working easily. It normally can be a little bit harder when you're working with the legs and arms because this is just such a small part that we don't have as much room to really maneuver them and push them into the neck ring. But basically, you always make sure that that thinner end is pointed down and it's got to go into this little groove here. So you just pop it over here and you need to maneuver this around a lot to get it in. And I might not be doing this today because generally you need to get a bit of heat on it so that moves properly. So let me just see if I can do it. You have to sort of push these parts into the ring. So you can imagine too that this is going to sort of fit right on here. So it's got to be the perfect size. And this is hard. It's hard plastic. It doesn't maneuver at all. So you have to work the vinyl, which is movable, into place. So be careful if you're doing this with scissors and everything, of course. If you're not good with that. Heidi High says, I use a funnel to get the glass in the limbs. That funnel is great as well. So keep maneuvering this by pushing this part in, and then you can get on the inside and pull it out as well. So I know I'm probably not giving the best instructions here, but it's just a matter of moving them bit by bit. Now when I said oh no before, it's because I've already put the weight in. So if I turn it upside down, the weight's going to come out, which would be my oh no moment. So see, just a little bit of maneuvering, slow and steady. And see, I've just got to push that up in there. And then I can just use my scissors to guide it out. So that's all that is. And this will now make, in the socket of the legs, will make it move nice and smoothly. So I'll do that with my second one now. So just watch carefully if you're wanting to do it yourself. It's not really that much rocket science. It's just more annoying. But yeah, like I said, if you want to do it so it fits much easier, I suggest heating it in the oven, just giving the leg a little bit of a heat before you do it, and it'll go in nice and easily. Can you guys hear her singing? I'd be interested to hear. This one's being a bit stinky, but we will get there. You can see the glass beads coming closer and closer. That's funny. Terry, that's so funny. Yeah. Okay, that's something I'll talk about in 1 second. Let me just frustratedly get this in. It's coming in slowly. I'm supposed to have the air conditioning on when you're doing this. This last bit doesn't want to go in. It's taking me a moment. You made a paper funnel to get glass beads in the limbs. That's a really good idea. Okay, I will get to that, Marie. Let me just get this in. Come on, you little bugger. I would be calling it a few names by now, but I'm going to be kind. Come on, up you get. It's hurting my arms. So please remember, if you're not really good with strength, heat it up or don't do it. It is happening slowly, believe me. And sorry that the camera is moving. It's really hard on my arms. We're slowly getting there. It is working. It's just a little bit harder because I'm trying not to let that weight fall out. Yay, I got it. Okay. Great. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, that's okay. Okay. Sorry if anyone said anything particularly. So what you do for the neck rings, they're all neck rings. They're not leg rings. They're just called neck rings. So to get the right size, whether it's to be on the bottom of your neck here or the bottom of your leg, what you have to do is measure from side to side, okay? So from this side to this side was 5 centimeters or 50 millimeters. So that means I was to buy, I didn't buy it because I just took easy Reborn supplies. I stole it. I'm only joking. So this is a 50 millimeter neck ring. So it's not called a leg ring, it's called a neck ring, okay? 50 millimeter. Again, I think this would be about the same. Yeah, this is exactly the same. Look at that. So that would be a 50 millimeter length. Now, when it comes to plugs, which is another thing I really recommend, and I'll show you how to put them and everything in a minute. But when you come to plugs, you are only measuring the inner section. So this inner section is 2 centimeters or 20 millimeters. Roses Thank you, Raven. I'll talk to you later. So 20 millimeters. So if you measure it and you see it's 22 millimeters or something, you'll get 20. There's no such thing as 22. The next one up is 24, and that might be a bit too big for you. Okay, so neck ring is measuring from outer edge to outer edge, and it always comes in millimeters. So if you measure that and it's say 3 centimeters, you'd be getting 30 millimeter neck ring. Pardon me, although there isn't a 30 millimeter neck ring, the smallest is 38 millimeters. Okay, so that's how you measure that. I hope everyone's got that. I do have a video on YouTube of how to measure neck rings and plugs if anyone has any questions. Okay, we're doing good. Okay, so the next thing I do is I fill that void there with hobby fill. So it's just your typical hobby fill. I also use in my babies Angel Silk. Angel Silk is angelic in every way. I don't even think I can show you how angelic it is, but just have a look at that. It is like fairy floss. Can you see how silky that looks? And it's really, really soft. Compared to this, you can see it looks a bit coarser. But definitely that angel silk is expensive. It's really expensive. So I don't like to put that in something that my customer's not going to know the difference anyway. Absolutely wouldn't know the difference. So in the legs, I'll always be using polyfill and sometimes, or hobby fill. Sometimes you wouldn't believe how much stuff of this you get in there, but just give it a little wiggle in there and fill up your little void. Okay, now you don't want to overstuff it. If you overstuff it, it'll feel really, really horrible and fat. You need to have like with the weight. Oh, you can hear the weight in there. You won't be able to hear it, or you can hear it maybe lightly. Maybe not, but that's a really, really nice muscle tone, and you can see by my hands, like it's just got that slight bounce, which is perfect. You don't want it so you're getting nothing out of it. You need to have a slight squeeze, because if we've got little babies, of course we're going to squeeze them, and they're so soft and squishy, and we just want to do it. So it's a natural instinct for us to do it with our reborns as well. So that's where you want to get that realistic feel as well. So with the polyfill, don't overstuff it. You like his little fat legs, they're cute, aren't they? Angel silk is like touching a cloud, isn't it? It would be like, it's like heaven. I would love to lay in it. I want to lay in a big bunch of it. Anyway, so once again, we want that nice soft, even though it's polyfill and it's different than the weight below, we still want that nice squish. Not too squishy. I mean, if I squish this hard, yeah, you're not going to do that anyway, but you don't want it to be tight. You want it to be nice. Okay, so really think about that. See, this here feels like it's a bit too squishy, so I need to sort of push that polyfill down so we can make sure it's not too squishy in that area. But like I said, you'll be surprised sometimes how much polyfill you will fit in there. That leg still needs a little bit. I'm going to put this in. Don't do this at home. Just to push this down a little bit into that knee section. Just a little bit more. See, all round it's got to be just nice and realistic. And then we get our plug. This one takes 30 millimeter plug, which as we go, just push it in here. And it is an absolute most beautiful finish to any reborn. Now, someone was asking before, are they really necessary? No. Obviously, I talk about again how when I'm giving my customers, when they're paying the price, I'm going to give them quality. And I think that is the easiest to use anyway, but it's definitely a quality finish. But other people are quite happy. They might make a circle out of a piece of felt and they might glue it on. Some people even cut like some thick cardboard and glue it on. But I think when you're doing that, really, you're making more work for yourself anyway. Why not get this, seal it properly? It looks great. Not that your customer's really going to be pulling apart your baby anyway, but it's just a perfect finish. You can be guaranteed that that glass bead is not going to come out of anywhere. You can be guaranteed that if you were putting glue, if you were gluing the felt on or whatever, you can be guaranteed that it's not going to disintegrate over time and then the glue falls out and then all of a sudden, the glass bead starts coming out into the body. Things like that you've got to look at. And you can see with that baby's leg how well it looks to my own skin. It's quite like my own skin there. So do the next one, of course. Fill that one up. Just using exactly the same technique as you did before.
What do I use to clean this?
Is it just a bit of dust? Probably that sponge would be fine. See how that works. Okay, so just get that down in there. make sure it's nice and good again. So this is well good there. It's a little bit squishy. Push that down. Did that come off?
Yeah.
I don't have any at the moment. At least I don't think so. Can use tissue beside the. Okay. So just again, see if it's a nice squish. See how that's just a nice squish? It's not too much. That's perfect. So I can lock and load and put my plug in. And as you can see, if the plug is the right size, it will just fit in there like a glove, and it won't pop out. It'll only pop out if I've put too much polyfill in there. If I've put too much polyfill in there, the polyfill will push it back out with the pressure it's got on itself. So there are my legs. My legs, Emerson's legs. Oh, Lorraine, you're crocheting a christening outfit for your new great grandson. That's so cool. Trisha said, unreal the amount of polyfill. I used a bag and a half on my latest baby. And she was little. I know, it's amazing. And it compresses. And do you know, over time, so say months, a year or something, you know, especially in the body, that polyfill compresses more. And then your baby starts getting a bit floppy. So it is really good. I mean, I'll talk about it in a minute. It is good to put a little bit of extra polyfill in the body if you can, even if it's a little bit over solid, because it will compress and just get that perfect feel over time. Charmin said, I'd love to have one of your babies, please. Oh, of course. Heidi High said the plugs provide more rigidity for the zip ties too. Oh, okay. Yes, that's true. Trisha said, do you have to use the plugs to cover the end leg? Okay, you probably heard what I said before, that you don't have to. It's just, yeah, nice of a quality seal if you want to finish your limbs off like that. All the little Reborn said, I got a vintage bassinet today. Oh, you're excited. That's so cool. Okay, so the next step I will do is by putting the legs onto the body. Nice and easy. Nothing much in this one. This one is easy, obviously, because he's got full limbs. There's some magpies out there having some cat food. But if it's 3/4 limbs, there's sort of like a bit of a pocket there where you'll have to put the polyfill in before you attach it to the legs. Just obviously make sure you're putting the legs on the right side of the body. Generally, your body, the cable tie, the entrance to the cable tie will be at the back of the head, unless, you know, someone's hand making it. Some people hand make in different ways, but generally they're at the back. So you just put the leg in place, simple like that. Just hold it in place with one hand, and with the other hand just pull the zip tie back and forwards. Sorry, I had to use my teeth just to make sure it goes. And you don't want to make it too tight. That's where people make a great mistake. If they make it too tight, it definitely will make the legs not be able to move back and forward. You want a little bit of rotation. Even if you don't have the neck ring on, you need a little bit of movement. So what I do is I don't put it too tight, but then I look to see if I was to pull that, is that leg going to come out? Now, if that was really pulled, it could. So with that one, I'll just give it a little bit more, couple of more notches. So we'll have a look again. It's a little bit tighter there, but you can see it. And this should move nice and freely because of the neck ring. Now, if the neck ring wasn't there, that wouldn't move as free. It just wouldn't. So especially with this baby, it's really good to have that neck ring on, because he's got those kind of legs that, you know, they really curl up and, you know, they're really maneuverable. So you want to have that freedom there. So I'll put the other leg on, just holding that in place. So So also make sure that everything's really nice and neat and even. It's no good if you've got a big bunched up section of material there. You just have to sort of push things around so it sits nicely. So again, I pull back the material and see how much I've got there. I think that's a little bit too much showing. You know, you could imagine if a child got a hold of this and sort of give it a bit of a yank, they could pull the leg off if there was room to do so. So you want to make sure there's no room to do so. So that's more like it. And again, the leg's nice and maneuverable. So there we go. Our first part of our chicken is there. So cute. Look how cute it is. I know, right? Okay, so now we're going to do the arms. Now with the arms on this one, I'm not going to do the rings, mainly because I don't have any sizes in, and that is really, really hard to maneuver this, because this is quite, you know, it's not as flexible as, you know, big openings. So I'm not going to do it with this one, but I will make sure, as you'll see when I put the arms on, that I won't do it too tight. So there will be some maneuverability there. And yeah, like over time, it tends to move a little bit better. Okay, so again, I'm using the fine and I'm going to just the elbow. Oh, I hurt my hand. I don't know how that happened. Just the elbow. So everyone, if you can put Tiana in your prayers. Today's Tuesday here. And it's Tuesday, what's the time at the moment? It is Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. But on Thursday at 3:30 in the afternoon, Tiana goes for her license, her driver's license. So she's starting to get nervous. I don't know whether she's making herself sick, but she was really sick on Monday, early hours of the morning. I don't know whether she had a kidney infection or something, but she was home yesterday. Really bad pains, you know, in the back of her kidneys. So I don't know whether she's making herself sick or whether it's just nerves, but yeah, she's freaking out a bit. And if she doesn't get a license, she's the kind of young girl that would be devastated and just cry and cry and cry. And I don't want to see my baby cry. So some prayers for her to give her, you know, the wisdom to be able to do everything correctly, and the calmness to just take things as they come and think and listen. So yeah, that'll be quite exciting. She can do it. She's my daughter. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I know she can do it. She's a great driver, but we haven't had a lot of practice on the maneuvers, but she's pretty good on them. So also when you put your weight in your baby's arms, you know, I mean, you could go out and put them on the scales and that, but generally just give it a little bit feel that they feel generally the same. You'll generally feel if one's way too heavy compared to the other. So I feel that's good. So now I'm going to pack that up with the polyfill. Oh, I've got some in here. When you get in those little places, sometimes it can be a little bit tighter with your finger and a little bit harder to get the polyfill in, but you're best just to sort of maneuver your fingers pushing it in. It'll go. Yeah, I know it's Monday evening where you guys are. Remember, I'm an alien. I'm in the future. Thanks, Trisha. It'll be really exciting for her. And then guess what? Like, I don't have to drive her to school for the rest of the year. I mean, I will. There'll be some days where I will drive her, but generally she'll drive herself. What's the kit I'm using? This is a Chase by Bonnie Brown that I'm working on at the moment. Okay, so don't overstuff it again with the polyfill. See how we go. So that for me feels really, really nice. You can see with the level of squishiness, it's not too squishy. It really, I mean, my arms are a bit fat, but, well, that's a really bad diagnosis. But generally, if we had our muscles, you know, we wouldn't be squishing too much. You kind of get what I'm talking about, especially if it's a baby. They're not going to have mum fat on them. So this one, just pop in the plug. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Okay, so I'll do the other arm. Gee, I'm glad I didn't think of anything else to do on today's live stream, because this has taken up my time, hasn't it? Don't forget, if there's anything that you really want to see or you're having questions, you know, please feel free to ask me, and I can try to incorporate them into my live streams. Sometimes, you know, and a lot of people say sometimes, you know, oh, please don't think I'm silly, but how do you do this? And How could I think you're silly? If you haven't done it before or haven't been shown, how can you really know how to do something? You know, we all learn, we're all great visual learners. Well, reborn artists are definitely great visual learners. Okay, so again, give him a squish. Just want that nice squish. Now this feels a little bit hard here. Not as squishy as I would like. So I'm going to take a little bit of polyfill out to give that some versatility. And that's much better. You've really got to think about that. It's important, especially for your customer, you know, that's not going to be like a hard rock feeling there. Okay, so in with the plug. And this is perfect. It's fine. So there's the arms done. And we can put them onto the body. That's what I do next. Okay, so I'll keep going. So come over here, Emerson's body. So same thing that we did with the legs. That's how we're going to put the arms on. Again, please remember to make sure they're on the right side. There's seriously nothing worse than putting the arms on and then you look at it and you're like, oh. And realistically, it's the waste of a cable tie. You've got to then go cut the cable tie and put more on. Now, while I talk about that, a lot of the bodies that you do buy generally just have the strings in them. And you can just tie the string if you want. But generally, if you want the limb to stay on and you're wanting quality, cable ties are the best to use. And you really need the micro cable ties because they've got then the fine heads, which aren't as bulky as some of the ones that you might get like in your hardwares. Now make sure too when you're putting it on that all of these little seams and everything are sort of pushed in, and that will make it sit better. You don't want them sort of, see how this is all pushed out and you can see the seams coming out? You want them to be nice and neat in there, pushed in nicely. Okay, so with the arms, just hold it in place, normally like that, the way you think it's going to sit, and then just pull the cable tie. Normally back and forwards helps, but if you need to grab it with your teeth to do it, you can. And I do need to. Okay, so like I said, you can see that if it was pulled, that's going to come out really easily. So just slowly, don't go fast. This is if you're not using a neck ring. Don't go fast, just try to pull it in a couple of notches. Still make sure it's spinning nicely and checking that it won't come out. See, if that was really, really pulled to its limits, it might come out. So I'll do it just a couple more notches. You can see I've still got plenty of room there if I want. A couple more notches. Now you'll see as we get tighter, it gets harder for that to move. See how hard that is to move compared to sort of, this is just moving nicely. So you just need to give it a bit of a push back and forwards and it will move. But yeah, it'll be slightly restricted, not as nicely. Okay, so that's that arm done. And then we'll put the other arm on. So listen too, if you've done this before and you're thinking, oh, Annette, you're not showing me anything I haven't done before, good on you. But there is some people, like I said, that haven't done it before. And yeah, it's not rocket science, but they just feel that they just want to see someone do it before they go ahead and do it themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not idiots. They're just, yeah, like the visual guidance. So, you know, make sure you're humble and understand all different people's thinking. So that's good there. I think that's great, and it's still moving nicely. So there we have Emerson's body with the legs, and now we're going to look how cute I am with my little body and my big head. Sorry, I just had to get some stupidity in there. You know what I'm like. Okay, Trisha's got a question. She said, do you have to cover the ends of the limb at all? No, you don't. You weren't talking about the plugs, were you? I've just got another idea that someone did do once before, and it's a bit of a trick. If you can't do the neck rings on the legs, or you don't want to, someone years ago told me that what they do is they get clear nail polish, and in that little channel, in this channel here, they paint clear nail polish very carefully, very gently, all the way around, and that actually gives it a nice slide. So that's another thing you can do if you don't want to use the plugs. I'm just checking Trisha. Okay, she just said the ones I purchased didn't have the arm covers at all, just polyfill for closing them. Yeah, polyfill you can use for closing the limb, but seriously, you do need something else because you've got the weight in it. That weight, especially if you're using fine, over time is going to fiddle away down right through the polyfill, and then it'll come out in the body and it'll be a big mess. So you really have to close those ends. You really, really do. Whether it's a plug that you buy or whether you glue on either a felt or a piece of cardboard there, it really is important to seal those ends. You've just got floating around glass bead in there, and it's not nice when it gets in the body. Just, especially if it's fine, it can then come out of those very fine fibers. So please try to cover those ends if you can. I mean, like I say, it's not a must do. Nothing in the Reborn community is a must do, but it's definitely assistance. It'll definitely help you. Okay. So now I'm going to use my angel silk inside this baby. Like I said, I love the feeling of the body with the angel silk in. But if you are just making your first baby or something like that, don't use angel silk, just use polyfill. So this here, it really compacts quite a lot. So generally you can either use it all in your body, but I'm going to use like a little bit of polyfill just in the bottom part at the moment, just to sort of fill that section out. Okay, because he's got a little bit of a bottom on this one. Now don't forget, again, if you had 3/4 limbs before you put the arms on, you'll put a little bit of polyfill into that arm socket there before you put the arm on. Don't fill it too much, otherwise your baby will look like it has muscles. You really got to think about it and only put in the amount you think you need. All right, so that's when we come across our stocking, and I normally just cut like a section. That's probably about 25 to 30 centimeters. Just simply cut it across, and that's all I need to do. You can sit your little baby up there if you like, but if not, it just makes it a bit easier. Okay, so I just put my stocking inside the body a little bit, and then with the premium, I'm going to premium glass bead now. I put in an amount into that stocking. So let's see, again, I'll do like 3 scoops. Don't quote me on putting 3 scoops in your baby. It's going to depend on the size of your baby and what kind of feel you want. This is where you've got to use your own thoughts to get what you need. Now, let me just show you that. I've put it in the body, but can you see that all goes into there so nicely? It's not going to come out the sides or anything like that. It's perfect. And that's what, your tumble glass, your course will be like too, although it'll be a bit more crunchy, but it's not going to come out the sides of the stocking. So when I'm making a baby like this, I'll hold this sort of section around in my hand, and then I'll pick the baby up, and I'll just imagine it completed like how I feel. So I'll put its arms around my neck, and I'll just sort of hold it and see how it feels, like how light or how heavy it is. It's the best way to do it on your own personal feel of how you think how heavy it should be. So obviously for me at this moment, that baby's too light. So I'm going to add another couple of scoops of my coarse glass bead. Okay. I'll pick him up again. Now you've got to visualize in your mind that he's going to have a head on and the head's going to be weighted as well. But just from body-wise, how does it feel laying against your chest? If it feels like nothing and you don't feel much, add a little bit more. I'm feeling I want to add more. Now this is only like, a 40 ml jar, so of course it's not taking a lot of weight in. Okay, now at that stage I'm definitely going to lock and load that, because I'm going to put another little bit of weight in the top of his body. So when you tie your stocking, don't tie it so that's a tight ball, because as you can imagine, we want that to be really flexible and maneuverable. If it's in a tight ball, it's going to feel like it's got a tumour in its belly. You don't want that. So give it plenty of room. You can tie the knot up higher, and then that can be really flexible inside that and move as much as it likes. So feel that again, and that's feeling much better. Focus. It's not focusing. Okay, so that's feeling a lot better. So at this stage, I'll go in and fill some of my nice, brilliant angel silk in there. It's so sweet. It's like a fluffy bunny. Angel silk. Okay, so as you can see, he's starting to fill out now. So I just want to fill up that midsection of his body and not go overboard with anything there. A little bit more. Just a little bit more. So that's when I'll get another section of stocking. Sorry if anyone's asking any questions right now, but to get through to be finished, I've got to keep going. Okay, so with that, it's not the foot of the stocking, so I'll need to tie one end. Okay, like that. And again, just pop it in, open it up, and put in a couple of scoops. The top section won't need as many scoops as the bottom. It's just sort of giving it a little bit of weight in, you know, the upper section of the body. Okay, so that feels really nice. That feels really nice. Again, remembering it's still going to have the head on, which is going to have some weight in as well. So you've got to think about that. Yeah, I think he feels really, really good. So I'm going to just a little bit more, just a smidgen, half of one of these. And I'm happy with that. Now, at this stage, you've also got to think about your odour of your baby, not in a smelly way, but in a nice way. If you like the smell of babies and baby powder, this is the time when you're going to put in your scented pack, powder wafer. Now these are what they are, just your little powder wafers. They smell divine. Now there's two different things you can do. You can either use the wafer, the powder, baby powder wafer, or you can use what I often use is the Scentsy baby powder pack. Now I don't have one here at the moment, so I'm not putting one in him yet, but I'm not closing his body today, so I can still do that. But for today's purpose, I'll show you what I'll do with one of these. So if you need the Scentsy pack, you've just got to go to the Scentsy website and look up baby powder pack, and you'll be able to buy them from there. But with these powder wafers, cut them in half. You don't need that big whole square, and all you do is get that half and pop it into your top weighted bag, and then you tie it off. Now remember, don't want a tight ball, so don't tie it off tight. Tie the knot tight, but leave a nice gap in there, okay? So I'm going to keep this one. I'll put it back in the packet, but what I do with this one is I put it up behind the nose of the baby, and that means like his head's got that nice scent in it as well. So the baby is an all-round beautiful smell. So again, I'll give that a nice little feel, and it smells so good. So I fill the top part of his body with some more of this beautiful angel silk. It's fluffy going everywhere. Now remember, when you're filling your baby, sometimes you need to make sure that it's up to the level it's supposed to be, not slouched. And sometimes I'm just going to use the rest of this because I know I'm going to anyway. And like I said, make sure it's like slightly overstuffed, because you don't want it looking like a big fat man, I can tell you that. But if you don't, like let's see this, let's see that was all tucked in and Emerson's head was on. Oh, I know. See how if that head is weighted, it's going to push down on that, and this is too, come on, you've got to be a bit more up there. You know what I mean? It's too fatty in that area. You need it to be more solid. He needs to be sitting up nicely. So there would need to be a little bit of polyfill here. There's a gap there. You need to make sure that there's no gaps. This would be good. That's good there. Make sure that there's no gaps and that you do that just a little bit extra. Like I said, don't make it look like it's a, marshmallow man or something, but a little bit extra, making him a little bit solid. This is because in the months to come, do I look like a reborn? In the months to come, this polyfill is not as much, but this polyfill will definitely compress, and that's when you've got your baby and it's sitting there and it's like all floppy. I mean, a newborn baby, you want it to be floppy anyway. You don't want it to be sitting up nice and straight and tall when it's a newborn, and when it's closed eyes, but you do want to give it a little bit of strength there. So I haven't got obviously any weight in his head, but just imagining him turn his legs and how he looks. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Oh, he's so cute. So that's what she can tend to look at. Okay, you do want the baby to be able to sort of move really nicely. That's important. But just, like I say, don't overstuff it, but just give it that little bit more, which is going to protect it, give it a little bit extra strength. Now, I know over time, a lot of us, like I can refill my own baby, that's fine. And I know a lot of customers will do it themselves, but some people don't like to do it. So you've got to think about that aspect. But you do want the baby to be nice and maneuverable. Okay, so I'm going to see if there's any questions at the moment. Lovelock said I opened them because I didn't like how they were weighted and found that. Okay, that's cool. Heidi High said I recommend covering the ends, otherwise you could lose some of the limb feeling over time. Yes. Sorry if I'm so far back that I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to go back to where I am. Lovelock said, what size clothing will Emerson fit? He looks to be a decent size. Yeah, he's just newborn. So I would, in Australia, we get like what we call 4Os. 4Os is a newborn size, but wherever you're located, as long as it's a newborn size, he will fit into a newborn size perfectly. Looks better with the ring and plug. It does, just finishes it off neat. Make sure you put the neck ring on. Now, you guys will see when I get to the stage where I'm putting his head on and everything. But if you're going ahead now, the next job I would do, I would put this aside. I put a little bit of normal polyfill in like the back of his head. Then I get another stocking with my premium glass bead and I put in the right amount. And when I mean the right amount, you need to hold it on your hand and just feel, it's not feeling like you're holding a brick. You just want to feel it like it would be a nice drop of a baby's head, when their head falls back, without being a thump. It'll be a nice, like that. And then you'll pick up your baby and of course you will act like you're holding him. Put the head on, not all the way on, and just see how that feels. Like it feels really natural and not top heavy. You don't want him to feel top heavy, okay? Before you actually put the polyfill on and the weight in, you best put the neck ring on. It's going to be a little bit of a bum, but just remember what I said. Use a knife, a fork to sort of lever it in, or heat the head up first. You can use your hair rooting lamp. Heat it up first so it works well. Obviously, finish it off with a plug. If you're using powder wafers, put that powder wafer up just behind his nose. That's pretty much it. Don't overstuff the head. Obviously, once you put that weight bag in, put more polyfill behind the weight bag. Don't overstuff him, otherwise you'll find what he'll get to look like that. When they're overstuffed, they look gross. So you need to make sure that, you can give it a squish to make sure it's got the stuffing in, but overstuffing it will only change the whole look of the baby, and it won't be good. It won't be good at all. Poor little baby, you need your head on. But you will be seeing me put him completely together. The next thing I would do, obviously once I put the neck ring and the plug on, I would sit it in place and then pull that tie. Then you'll get some nail clippers. Now, nail clippers are the best for clipping these cable ties, and I'll show you why. So let's say I'm going to clip this, and I can do it now. Okay, I'll just clip that. So we've got our cable tie here. Now, can you see how this nail clip is slightly arched? It's got a slight moon shape to it. So what that's going to do is when I put that in place, when I put this in place, I can simply cut it, snip, gone, and over here is really smooth. No one's going to cut their hands on it or anything. So I can do that on all of them actually. Make sure that your cable ties are fully tightened before cutting them, and you'll find that, you know, if you're using scissors, you'll have that edge that is just sharp, and you don't want anyone complaining to you that their child or themselves has cut themselves on one of your cable ties because you didn't finish it properly. So they're all nicely cut like that. So that the last one I leave is this one. So obviously my head's not on, so I can't do that. But say my head was on, this would be the last one I would cut. And that's what I call, like in the reborn sort of world, is like the umbilical cut. And that's the time of birth. So as soon as you cut that last cable tie, that's the time of birth, and that's what you can give to the mum. And they'll be just so excited to know that. And a lot of them, you know, take that with them every year, you know. So I'll put Emerson down again, and but that would be my finished part. That would be when I would start putting the nappy on and dressing him and taking some photos. He's got quite a bum, doesn't he? Yes. Brandy said, if someone wants an 8-pound baby, should we weigh at 8 pounds? We shouldn't really, but see, I don't know the conversion to dead weight to live weight. I've always wanted to know that over the years, but I haven't figured that out. So if you were to do an 8-pound baby, which I've done before, it will feel like a brick shit house. Really, it will be so heavy. It'll be hard for a child to hold. It'll be hard for elderly to hold. It'll be hard for us to hold. It will be really, really weighty. And there's even been times when people have asked me to do an 8 pound in the early days, and you have to use the whole leg to fill it, the whole arm, a lot of the body. There's not much stuffing, and the whole head. If you can imagine how much that would weigh, it's horrible. So you've got to, what I would normally tell my customer is, look, like 8 pound in a reborn is a dead weight. I can try to make it as close to feeling that weight as possible. But yeah, it would probably, the conversion would probably be more like a 5 pound dead weight would probably be more like an 8 pound. But I don't know the conversions exactly, but definitely 8 pound, it would be horrible. It would be very expensive too in weight. Thanks, Tina. Junewell said one reborn suggests they use the round cosmetic. Yes, pads for the arms and legs. Tried it, didn't work. It didn't work well for you. Okay, I've never tried it, but I thought that was a good idea. Wanda said, I took some photos, LOL, when I had them loaded, I'll send it. Okay, thank you. Lovelock said, Junewell, I wouldn't think the cosmetic wedge would be any more sturdy than polyfill. Did you glue it in place? My sweet little angel said, how do you find your GoFundMe? Sorry. Julia, could you share my GoFundMe page? If not, I can always share it too on my Facebook page. Okay, they didn't say that. Junewell said. Lovelock said, sweet little angels, you can scroll up a bit and it will be in the comments. Thank you. Thank you, Marie. She said it looks good. Lovelock said, I was just curious if you had the size would be almost convenient to fit in the end. Well, if you go back further in my video, you'll see the measurement sort of way I gave you, but I do have videos on how to measure neck rings and plugs on my channel if you look through that. Shaman said, do you sell baby weighting scales for reborns? I do have some. I think I've got one in there at the moment, but they're really easy to get on eBay and Amazon. Just look in baby scales, and you'd probably be best to buy them directly because, as you know, I've got to put a margin on to get my own profit. And I don't try to sell many of those. I think I have one in stock just in case someone desperately wants one. But yeah, my suggestion is, go online and get one for yourself. You'll save some dollars. Trisha said, I try to move the snipped cable tie under the material on the limbs to stop any cuts happening. It seems to work well. Okay, so what Trisha has said there is you've got like a little gap here, and see how it's poking out? I can actually, especially if I've got tweezers, I can lift this section up here. You can see how much you can see the cable tie. I can lift this section up here and here. Sorry, if I had tweezers, it'd be easier to do. But see, as you can imagine, what Trisha said is what she does is tucks that now under there, and that finishes that off really nicely. So thanks for giving that tip, Trisha. That is a very nice way to do it. It looks good. The customer can't see that ugly cable tie. Definitely, and that's what it's for apparently, to sort of flip back over at that. Thank you, Julia, for sharing the GoFundMe. I appreciate that. Marie said she's she's excited about getting her license. Oh yes, very excited. She's got plans for this weekend, I think. My sweet little angel said, I can't get it off your Facebook. Yes, you can, the GoFundMe, but it's really far down at the moment. So if you give me today, I'll share it again, so it's up higher for you guys. Nini said, question 1, do you ever have a set price for your babies? 2, would you be able to give me a list of BB paint colors you use? And 3, what kind of ventilation do you use when baking your babies? Okay, so set price for my babies. Generally, see, I'm in high demand, so my prices are higher. But generally, I suggest to anyone new to selling babies that like a basic Bountiful baby, you know, you would probably charge, depending on what currency, anywhere between $250 to $300. Mine would be about $300 AU. If it's a Reborn, then I would be going up about 50, so 300 to 350. And then if it's a limited edition, really you've got to be asking the big money, and you shouldn't be really making them unless you're really up to quality. And then you'd be looking at 500 to 600, sometimes more. There is some high artists that sell up to, you know, thousands. So it really depends on your work and everything. But that's like a base rate to start it at. Obviously, it really depends on the quality products you're putting into. If you're using just all budget type, not budget as in stinky products, but budget in well-priced items, you can bring your price down. And if you're using a premium product, especially premium mohair, you really have to put that price up. Because, you know, as we know, it takes hours to make a baby, and we really don't get paid by the hour. The next question, if you want a list of the BB colours I use, well, I've got them on my website, all the colours you can get. The colours I use, though, generally are red, yellow, blue, white, and sometimes black. They're the colours I generally use. I stick with just the primary colours. And ventilation, my oven is actually in my garage out there, so I'd either just have the garage door open, otherwise I might even put a face mask on, get the baby out, and I don't spend much time lurking around that area. My sweet little angel said, Annette, can you use a 17-inch body on a 16-inch baby? Absolutely, you can. And that's one thing that is great. If you've got someone that says, oh, I want a baby, you know, custom made to what this baby was like newborn, and let's say you've got to make it 53 centimeters, but with your body, it's only going to come to 50 centimeters or something. Go up a notch in the bigger body, and that could get you that extra length to make it the length of the baby that you need to make. Amy's GoFundMe. I don't know, Julia, do you have Amy's GoFundMe? Amy's GoFundMe is where we were raising money for a chair for her, a nursing chair for her. Now, I've managed to buy that at an amazing price, $199. But any other, we will start sharing that probably generally on her belly watch and everything. But any extra money that we raise from that, I know I've already got the chair, will be definitely going back into helping her buy things that she needs for the baby. They won't be going into personal things, if you know what I mean, baby things. Nini said, I've heard you need ventilation with Genesis Heat Set paint because they are toxic when being baked, and I have planned to do it in the garage because I don't have the area in my house to do it. So is that okay? Just like me. Yep, garage is fine. Okay, so anyone's got my Facebook page, Julie, if you could share my Facebook page. If anyone can't find my GoFundMe right here, you can go to my Facebook page later on and I'll share it. The no-hole nipples haven't arrived yet and I haven't had a chance to see what I have left. Tika, do you know if we have any of the no-hole nipples left out there at the moment? Get her to check while she's here. Hi, Mama Wyatt. Mama
Any
would.
of the what, sorry?
Any of the no-hole nipples? Do we have any left at all?
Yeah, we go
How many?
maybe 2 of them.
We've probably got about 2 or 3 left at the moment. But yeah, the other ones haven't come in stock yet, so I haven't been able to check if we've got more. Tina said, I never thought of putting the scented wafer inside with the glass bead. Thank you, Annette. Another good chip. It's beautiful, the scented wafer. And I get so many people that say, you know, that the babies always smell so beautiful. Carly says she sells hers for $3.50. That's about a good going rate. Heidi says, as far as the body size, yes, it will just give slightly longer torso. That is right. Thank you, Julia, for sharing everything for me. You're amazing. Even has the rocking chair GoFundMe for Amy. You're the bomb, Julia. Has anyone ever told you that today? You are the bomb. You are the best. Thank you so much for what you do for me. Wanda said, are the babies baked in a regular oven or a special oven just for dolls? Yeah, it's a special oven. It's actually just a regular convection oven, like a tabletop oven. Don't do it in your personal oven where you cook your food in, because you're then leaving, you know, some fumes in there which aren't really good to get in our own food. But yeah, convection oven, just tabletop, and that's what's good. Hi, Paolo. Okay, so that's us for today. We've certainly gone over time. I hope everyone has enjoyed today's lessons. Any questions, please message me. You know what, if I don't get back to you today, I'll definitely get back to you within the next coming days. You've got a new wave, Marie? Yeah. Reborn Under the Sunset. Annette, thank you so much for doing the class. It's a blast. I learnt a lot from today. Great. Charmin said, I use the new wave oven in my apartment and I open the windows and turn on the fan and open the front door. That's okay. Perfect. Hi, Beach Baby. Yep, thank you. You're very welcome. Wanda, thank you for joining us. Brandy said, if you have birds in the house, do not bake anywhere near them. They will die. That sounds so sad. Lovelock said, will you be doing any more classes? Yeah, every Tuesday I do classes. I'll just be doing little bits and pieces. The full class obviously started weeks ago and you could go back and watch that. But a whole different sort of class, like making toddlers or ethnic babies or something, that won't start till next year now. So for the rest of the year, I'll just sort of be chipping away at different things people are asking me to do. Hi, Mary Bat. She said, thank you so much for your classes. Thumbs up. Thank you, everyone, for giving me the thumbs up too. I do appreciate that so much. Nini said, what is a good temperature for your oven? I think it's, in America, it's 265 Fahrenheit. Australia, it's about 120 Celsius. But you can Google that. For my Reborn said, bye, thank you. Feel better? Thank you. Yeah, look forward to Tuesdays. It's cool. Everyone comes. Marie said, thank you, Annette, for all the tips. You're very welcome. Tricia said, bye, Annette. Have a good week. Thanks for the class. So helpful. I hope you're feeling better too, Tricia. Just want to let you know I've been thinking of you as well. You're welcome, Heidi. Hi. Nini said, thank you so much for all your help. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me again. Don't forget, if you have any questions, if there's anything particular you want to know, you haven't seen before, maybe you can send me a message and I can do it in one of our Tuesday mornings. You're very welcome, Lisa. Kylie said, can anyone send you baby clothes? Ooh. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you need my address, it's in, like, if you go on my channel and it might say about me, it's got my address there, and you're very welcome. Amy's baby shower is on her real baby shower is on the 15th of May. So if anyone does send anything, you know, make sure you wrap it and just say, leave a note on the outside saying, Annette, this is for Amy's baby shower. And I'll actually take it to the baby shower and let her open it on that day. Charmin said, thank you so much, Annette, for your knowledge. I enjoy the class so much. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you reminding everyone about the thumbs up. My sweet little angel said, will you be doing a Premier class? I probably will in the future. I don't know when at the moment. I do have a full painting tutorial on painting a Premier using heat set paints. If you go back and look at some of my lessons, probably if you go to my channel and there's a little search bar, and if you just type the word in Premier, it'll probably come up and show you. Reborn Under the Sun said, night everyone, night Annette. We'll see you all on Friday or Thursday. 2 weeks, okay. Mama said, bye Annette, have fun, love you too, Mama. Thank you again, Julia. She just shared my Patreon. Thank you again for sharing everything. Bye, Deanna. Bye, Charmin. There we go again. Julia is so on the ball. There's my address if anyone wants to send me can coolers or if you want to send Amy a baby shower gift. Bye, Reborn Under the Sun. Nini, bye. Kylie, thank you. Nini said, can anyone tell me how long it is recommended to bake a baby in Ewer? Generally about 8 to 10 minutes is what they say. You messaged me about ordering. No worries. Thank you. Bye, Brandy. Thank you for saying that, Junewell. Bye, Mama and my sweet angels. You're very welcome. Okay, have a great week and stay cool.